Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Helen Wallace. I'm a board member of Elder Abuse Action Australia, and I'm filling in for the Executive Officer Bev Lang, who's away on leave at the moment. Big shoes to fill. I wish to acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters, and culture. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, in particular to the elders of Jagera and Turrbal country, where I am currently in Brisbane City. You can add the name of your country area if you like in the chat. Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn session. These sessions give our members the opportunity to showcase their work and their knowledge and experience with a growing audience of people from across the sector and our community members. So there's a little bit of housekeeping before we start today. Please use the chat function today to ask questions or share comments during the session. And as always, please be respectful to each other and to the speakers as you do so. During this session, there'll be invitations to do 4 quick polls. That'll be up for just a couple of minutes, and each poll will appear at different points during the presentation, and we'll give you a little bit of time to fill in and then move on. Question time will follow, where the questions in the chat will be put to the presenters. Because we have 2 presenters today, please include the name of the presenter that your question is directed to. And each presenter will respond to as many questions as possible at the end of the presentation. Closed captions are enabled for this session, so if you need these, that's an option at the bottom of your screen in Zoom. This session's being recorded for the purposes of sharing the webinar with everyone who's registered, and also on the EAAA website and the our YouTube channel. We'd appreciate your feedback in the survey that will be sent at the end of the webinar as well. Now, we are fortunate to have 2 presenters here representing Australian Multicultural Community Services, speaking about safe and smart, standing up to scams and financial abuse. This presentation will explore AMCS's design and delivery of Money Smart for Seniors. It's a project co-created with culturally and linguistically diverse communities to tackle these silent crimes of elder financial abuse, scams, and fraud. Our speakers today are Dr. Medha Gunawardena. Medha has worked in the multicultural sector in Victoria for over 7 years. She currently serves as the Manager of Community Strengthening at Australian Multicultural Services. And Medha is a board member of both the Ethnic Communities Council of Victoria and Elder Abuse Action Australia. She's busy. She also chairs the Ethnic Communities Council Positive Ageing and Aged Care Policy Advisory Committee. A dedicated leader in multiculturalism, Medha is actively involved in cultural and community development and committed to promoting equality of opportunity for called communities. Her passion lies in supporting older people facing challenges, empowering them to age meaningfully and live independently with dignity and hope. We also have Dr. Susie Goldsmith today. For the past 10 years, Susie's consulting work has focused on strategy, risk and innovation challenges within the non-profit sector, working collaboratively with organisations, staff, consumers and community on strategic research and reviews, submissions and service models. A strong theme of Susie's work considers community members, especially those with vulnerability, and how they access, navigate and experience the systems that are supposed to support them. Over the past 5 years, Susie has worked with AMCS staff and community members on capacity building projects to revisit challenges, work through possibilities, and co-create interventions that enhance individual and collective resilience. Please join me in welcoming the Australian Multicultural Community Services team, starting with Dr. Medha Ganawardena. Thank you. So Medha, if you would like to commence your presentation.
Yes, I would like to begin by acknowledging Australian traditional owners. Australian Multicultural Community Services acknowledges traditional owners of country throughout Australia, pay our respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures and to elders past, present and emerging. Today we are sharing our insights on designing and implementing of the Money Smart for Seniors project, which is a community-led project co-designed with culturally and linguistically diverse communities to address the silent crimes of elder financial abuse, scams and fraud. I'm Medha Gunawardena and Dr. Susie Goldsmith joining me as our financial counselor, advisor and the consultant. The next slide, please. So I will give a brief introduction to our AMCS, Australian Multicultural Community Services. We are a trusted multicultural organization with over 40 years of experience providing age and community care services to support called individuals, families, and also people from highly disadvantaged backgrounds. We are very unique because we have over 300 staff members from over 65 different cultural backgrounds, as well as they are speaking over 45 languages to provide culturally sensitive, personalized support to our cold clients and also the community members. We established that community strengthening department to provide community care services, including capacity development programs to empower individuals and as well as strengthen the ethnic community groups and clubs to address their unique needs and challenges involving their lived experiences. We have a strong network of over 100 ethnic community groups and clubs, and we are working in partnership with community leaders to identify their needs, emerging needs, and also challenges, and to develop or co-create community-led approaches involving their own experiences. Even this program also drawn on community members' lived and living experiences to develop tools that are accessible, culturally relevant, and build resilience and confidence. Why scams and fraud and elder abuse very important? Because it's a critical issue now which need urgent attention. I will explain that because every day we are hearing different devastating stories, but when we hear it, it was too late to help because they already experienced that and they already experienced the negative consequences. They are going through the negative consequences. That can be too late to help. That is why we recognize people needed more information and education on how to avoid, how to respond, and how to report against the abuse. So poll question 1, I think James will run it now.
Please click your selection. The responses are anonymous, so don't worry about what you're saying.
Yes. Yes, that already we can see that 51% of you mention it many times each week. That is why we need to address this very urgently and culturally specific way. Otherwise, they can't get the support as the way they need the support. So. And the other thing is that when we develop resources and information toolkits, all these materials and resources should be prevention focused, because these crimes have devastating consequences. I can explain this with one of true stories. One of the community members came to us and shared his story. It was really, really sad one. And he was 72 years, and I can name him as Jamie. And I can't share the cultural background because I think it's inappropriate. And he used to use some dating apps and develop relationship with some women. And he developed one strong relationship, one of the women, and it went well until he did lost all the money. Their plan was to purchase a house in that country, and he wanted to live with this person here and there time to time. And he did several transactions. And after he completed the final transaction, this woman disappeared, no trace. He couldn't find anyone in that name, everything. Forge information, and he ran to the bank and asked the support but even for us, we didn't know how to help because it's already done, already gone, everything already gone. I think nearly $500,000. The what he got, that's the all money he got for living for rest of the life. And we need to understand he didn't lose his money only. He lost everything. Like he got children, and children got really upset about losing all money, and they distance from his dad, and also the shame, and he was worrying about that he got a bad face, and he couldn't face for his community, and eventually he isolated from the community also and started to stay at home without going out, because he said, I can't go out, it's a shame for me and I can't bear this anymore. And also he lost the sense of security, financial security, no money to live, and also cut off from the support network. And he lost the self-respect, confidence, and identity and sense of self. Everything he lost. And that finally we heard that because he came as a client for us, suffering, living with dementia, because the trauma caused him dementia. And also that damage increases with the vulnerability. These are people already vulnerable because of the age, and age like cognitive challenges, language barrier, cultural barriers, and also they don't have much confidence because they don't know about the available services, how to access these services, and also about the legal and health or institutional frameworks in Australia, and less independence because they are heavily reliant on their family members, children, and neighbors and friends. So always at high risk of exposing their personal information. So next one. We will go for the poll question too. It's really important to have your ideas and information.
James, you going to launch question 2? Thanks. So I'll read it to you. How many people are you aware of who've lost money or important personal information through a scam? Medha?
Yes, it is interesting to see that you all, like only 11% haven't seen that, and rest of the people experience and heard about the stories of losing money, and it is important to see that what you have done after you heard about these stories, and how did you help them, or whether you were able to help them, and what we can do for them. So we developed this Money Smart for seniors to address these silent crimes of elder financial abuse and scams and fraud. And particularly, we wanted to develop culturally relevant and accessible information and education to support community members in preventing, avoiding, and responding to financial attacks. And specifically, we focus on seniors age 65 plus, who are the most vulnerable in this cohort, and seniors from low socioeconomic status, and also definitely called, and also a special focus on female participants or community members, because they are more vulnerable when we compare with the male cohort, because of their because they are not independent as much as called male people. And the other thing is the cultural dynamics, cultural norms make them more vulnerable. And also we wanted to include community generated materials to boost, take up, and disseminate the key messages. I will explain this more in the next section. We have 4 project components. The first one is research existing materials through a desktop research. We focus on trusted and credible sources to establish the context. We wanted to know what are the available existing resources, materials, toolkits, and we want to know, because we wanted to see why people are not taking these, or what is the problem, and whether we can we wanted to make sure that we are not duplicating. Instead, we are complementing with this resources, existing resources. The second thing is the co-design workshop. We arrange a co-design workshop to work with community leaders and some of the community members to understand about their existing experience of financial abuse, scams and frauds, and what they know, how they perceive this, as well as if they experience already, what actions they already taken to protect and report. And also we ask them whether they are using the existing help, existing support, existing information. If not, what are the reasons not using this, and why didn't you speak out? Why didn't you access the existing support services? And the third one, we wanted to co-create the materials with the community, because we wanted to give them the ownership of what they are producing. And when we give them the ownership, they are the responsible people, or they have the ownership of their products, and they will be the messengers to their own community. So we ask them what you want, how you want the support in the previous co-design workshop, and the way you need the support, like formats. And then this second one, they said they need something like a toolkit, or Susie will explain that, something very fun, and something they can use in gatherings, because they are gathering every week or fortnight or monthly, something they can use when they gather, and also engage in, because they think that existing information, too much information, overwhelming, and too much words there, they can't understand, even sometimes they can't read in their own language how we use this information. And also they said they understand that romance scam is something hidden in the society, so we need to address this. And they are happy to have some videos and artworks to make community aware of these things. And the fourth item is the web page sessions and celebrations. So we are going to create a separate web page to share content and all the resources whenever that people want the information, they can come and browse. And also training for group leaders, staff and volunteers, because we need to train our frontline staff to support clients, and also volunteers to support community members. And also we will run community-led sessions in language to teach them or share the materials we produce in this program. And also finally we will have a celebration showcasing everything that we produce to for the public awareness and learning. So MCS acknowledges financial support from the Enroller Courier State Foundation and Perpetual trustees, and team and partners, AMCS staff and volunteers, and Goldsmith Private Limited. Susie Goldsmith is here, and House Studio, they are the people who are supporting us to create the content, and also eSafety Seniors, and all ethnic community groups and clubs. So I will hand over to Susie after poll question 3.
James, can we have the poll? How confident are you in your capacity to help your clients or participants, or yourself, to resist scam or fraud attempts? It's anonymous, but please tick quickly. Okay, so the majority feel moderately confident in helping people, and I'd be fascinated. There'll be another poll question later to ask you what you actually do, and a quarter of people feel highly confident, so that's really terrific. Very curious to know what that constitutes, but we will keep going about the program we've been looking at. And we're sort of working on the gaps that Medha has described, seeing and being quite, finding quite distressing, really. So we started with our understanding of the communities that AMCS is working with, which are very extensive. And we've worked with these groups before. So we knew already that there was a range of capabilities and confidence levels in the groups. And that ranges from people who are very confident, who've only perhaps recently retired and have worked for a long time in Australia in English and feel quite competent at navigating things online. Predominantly that group seems to be male, and it's only probably, my guess is about 10% of a typical group. The middle 80% are much less confident and much less conversant with how to navigate things. And then the least confident people are people with communication challenges. They still have decision-making capacity, but perhaps difficulty in communicating and implementing their decisions. But the more confident ones have got the ability to lead and support the rest of the group, and also understand the group as in general, understands the sorts of barriers that they share, which might be, for example, a distrust of institutions or worries about visa status, which make simple translations of Australian approaches less useful. And navigating aging is a challenge for everyone. And it's made more complex by the difference between cultural expectations and local norms. We did a brief scan of reports and research. I've just listed them here. That was just to provide evidence for the context that we established. And the context we established was really that the 65 plus age group is expected to more than double in the next 25 years. And I think everyone understands this. The factors that make us more susceptible are common to scams, fraud, and elder abuse. They're the standard list of things. Also, older Australians of any ethnicity may have greater difficulty, greater difficulty speaking English. That's in households that don't speak English at home. But they also, as people age, we have greater need for third-party support with financial matters. And it's a two-edged sword because that support can be protective or it can expose someone to abuse. In terms of scams, I'll let you read this slide yourselves, but there's a lot of information available about the types and methods of scams. What's key here is that each quarter, the information that's the statistics that are gathered by ScamWatch change. So the pattern that you could explain last June is not the pattern I see looking at now a year later. It's all shifting all the time. It's a shape-shifting threat. Although the problems and the amounts of money being lost in general seem to be decreasing a bit, but that's only based on reports. Called communities and older Australians are a group where the amounts being lost are increasing. So this is our starting point. There are 4 main government websites that have a whole heap of information on them. The Australian Signals Directorate, ACCC's ScamWatch, the e-Safety Commissioner's Be Connected resources, which I'm sure many of you have seen, and ID Care. A lot of that content is also available in language, and our groups told us when we shared some of that it was actually very nicely translated, and they appreciated the way some of that was presented. But the issue is that digital literacy is needed to access most of this information, and building digital literacy is a major focus of the capacity strengthening within it. Bizarrely, those with poor digital literacy are told to ask a trusted friend or relative for assistance. And I think the group gathered here today will understand how strange that is. There's, of course, been efforts going on at government level to improve systems as well. That's really great. Perhaps some people think it's not enough, or it's too late, or happening too slowly. But what we've focused on is strengthening communities and individuals within those communities. So what I've tried to communicate in this slide is that the information and education available is helpful, but it's completely overwhelming. There's pages and pages and pages of it. And for me, I've got 3 degrees. I find it overwhelming. And because of that, it's also makes you feel a bit disempowered. It's quite disempowering to see pages and pages and think, I could never get through this. This is like doing an online university course, but harder. So we'll go to poll question 4, sorry. How have you helped your clients or participants to resist scam or fraud attempts? Now, this is a short answer. If it is anonymous, but if you wouldn't mind writing in some of your ideas about what you think you've done to strengthen people that you work with, or friends, or yourself, in terms of scam and fraud resistance. Now, we may not be able to share all these answers. We might have a look if there's time in the Q&A, but we're just really interested to learn from you, and also for you to have a chance to reflect as well. If you finish up your answers now, because we need to move on. Thank you, everyone, for putting those answers together. So we thought there was no benefit in duplicating the huge amount of guidance that was already available. Rather, we wanted to take a strengths-based approach and give community members the tools of resistance and opportunity to practice using them. So we asked a number of community groups, what are the common forms of attack you're aware of? Does your community feel exposed to attack? How and why? There are some communities who have very specific threats and messages directed at them, often in language. What do you need to feel strong and confident? How is strength expressed in your culture? Would that help? What extra supports might help, like the relay service or interpreter? And they told us these kinds of responses here that are up here. I'll let you read those. And we also observed this wide range of confidence levels. Often only 1 or 2 people would really speak about their scam experience, but everyone else probably agreed. And also, as soon as we asked about something specific like romance scams, there was a reluctance to discuss that kind of thing in a group, and that's fair enough. The main message that came was that we want the simplest way to respond to financial attacks. We want to be able to learn by making mistakes. We're enthusiastic to build confidence and promote our own independence. We don't want a lot of stuff to read. Learning materials with online links only suit those who are already quite confident. We'd rather learn in person. This kind of thing is the sort of message we were getting. So our response to that in terms of the design was to draw on the instincts and advice of the communities to come up with what we would do. And I don't know if many of you online know about the Luke's Strength cards. This is my 30-year-old set, which I love dearly. But we took that as inspiration. And because we were seeking to reduce fear and confusion, which are common barriers to taking action, and give people really a simple link to the strengths that they have, remind them of those strengths and provide simple steps to take. We wanted to span across the levels of confidence that we'd observed, understanding that 80% of people weren't very confident at all. And we wanted our resources to work for as many of the group as possible, members of the groups as possible, and encourage the more confident people to influence and support the people who are less confident, to really start the conversation within the community and normalize resistance. And of course, we wanted to avoid duplication and promote uptake of existing resources. So where we went to was a card game. This game is called Beat the Wolf. And the idea, which Medha alluded to before, was to increase the engagement level, create some fun, allow community members to model the required behaviours to each other, get the concept, get a language, get a conversation going, and also to create something that is reasonably fluid in that it just is getting the conversation going. So as scams and fraud attempts and elder abuse attempts change, or people learn different things, they can share about those. They say, oh, you never would guess what I got last week. And so we can maintain some currency. So the concept of the wolf in sheep's clothing, people attacking you with scams, fraud, or elder abuse, pretend to be kind and trustworthy so you won't suspect them. In the traditional story, the wolf disguises himself as a sheep so he can hide among the other sheep and get close enough to kill for his next meal. And this is what people attacking you with scams, fraud, or elder abuse do. So what we discovered, which I found quite fascinating, was that these groups we spoke to were from very different communities, and yet everyone knew about the wolf in sheep's clothing. So that was quite interesting. It's quite a universal story. So what can you do if the wolf's coming your way? We thought about it a bit and learnt that wolves are actually afraid of tigers. They're not afraid of very much, but apparently a wolf is pretty scared of a tiger. And also, and across cultures, many of us would like to be a tiger. I particularly would like a stripy tail myself. So then we had 5 tiger strengths, which we validated in discussion with some of the government bodies who are doing all the work at the other end. And they are security, take action, savvy, spot the wolf, say no, stay on the safe side, step away, stop all contact, and share wisely. A little information goes a long way. And we're very grateful to House Studios for helping us with putting these ideas into practice, because we did need our own copyright on the images. We then had some typical wolf challenges, a wolf pack of scam starters. So the wolf can appear, I mean, there are 200 on the lists today. There'll be another 200 by next week. We can't be comprehensive with the types of attack. And that's why we've gone back and tried to build this up on the responses. The responses, many responses, a few responses will deal with many attacks. So it's easier to learn and internalize a few responses that actually get you standing on your hind legs and looking after yourself than to worry about trying to identify every single type of attack, because they're changing all the time. So the sort of scam starters we're talking about here, you need to invest more. It's going so well. Just click this link. I'm using a public Wi-Fi service. So that's just some examples of the sorts of provocations here. But they won't cover everything, but they will still allow people to practice the kinds of things that can happen. So then we've gone to some community-led sessions, which allow people to practice using these strengths, and they're held in language. And we're just at that point now. We want people to practice using their strengths, to normalize in discussion resistance, because of course, scammers use your nice feet qualities against you, and people need to understand that within their community, actually we expect to all say no to this kind of thing. And to reduce the barriers for asking for help so that people can think, okay, we've been talking about this, so I can show this to one of my friends at the community meeting and say, what do you reckon this is? And through the sessions, people start to work on how they can play with the cards. So for example, this wolf is saying, or the wolf isn't saying, but the situation is saying, I'm being asked to do this urgently. I'm feeling pressured. So wolves often trick us, or scammers often trick us by making us hurry. So we're not able to think clearly or ask someone else for advice. And when we feel pushed to act quickly, it might be a wolf. In fact, this just happened the other week to my partner. I managed to use a tiger to save him. So we chose savvy as the tiger card here. And then savvy is spot the wolf. I think it might be a wolf. So what you might say then is, thank you, I'll pursue this another way, or I'll check this out myself, and just hang up and then go and look for the formal route to that information and just check whether it's true or not. And the message we're giving is that you don't have to be right, but it's important to play it safe. Take your time and check things out independently. So from this, we've got a whole load of themed resources. There's a toolkit, which is on the left here, which goes through the same tiger strengths, but actually links more to some of the more in-depth information that's available on the government websites. And for those people who are very competent, they can look at those links, but equally, once they're in those websites, they can explore to their heart's content. We have the cards in a pack, and there's also a help card you can see here, which each community member can keep and have in their bag, for example, to remind them of the sorts of strengths they have, and also provides some useful, but not too many, points of reference where they can go for help if they're worried. And we've also been generating some community artwork, videos, role play with the cards, and also some dances. So I'm going to go back to Medha to talk about the outcomes.
The impact we wanted to create is that increase the resilience of all older people to be confident and as a way that they can use the technology in a safe way and be independent at home and in the community. And also we wanted to develop their confidence to identify the scams and also spot the wolf and be strong to avoid and also to respond if there are any case, respond properly and also report. And the other thing is that when we use this game, they can open up conversations. They have the confidence to be open to conversations about scams, fraud, and elder abuse, and also to support each other, that peer support. And every week or every fortnight when they gather, they have something to talk about and what has happened last week and get the support from their peers and also make them aware about the new scams and also reduce the barriers to help by providing simple, non-threatening way to access existing trusted knowledge and also increase our staff capacity to support our clients and the community members. And we develop something suit for community members at all confidence level, that we have different confidence levels, no confidence, moderate and high confidence. So everyone can enjoy with this gameplay. Thank you very much for everyone joining here. That's for question and answer session.
Thanks very much, Medha and Susie. Quite a lot of the chat were people saying this looks really good, the materials that you've developed and the process. For those who want to procure the tools, the materials, the card game, should they email info@amcservices.org.au to request that so you know that's
Yes.
the request from people? Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that's info, I-N-F-O, at AMC Services, all one word, .org.au. So congratulations on a creative and obviously impactful approach. A couple of the other questions are the cards and materials in different languages?
We would love to do that, but it was a pretty sparse budget that we had for this part. But certainly we're open to that idea, and we've had offers to translate from some of the community leaders already because they're just so keen on it. Honestly, they're very attached to the whole thing because they have control of it. It's not like attending a talk. They just play with it. And I think they like that very much.
Mm. So this is the beginning, not the end of the project in many ways.
In some
Miranda
ways,
says,
if anyone knows any funding for translation, we'll take it.
Yeah.
It's more the printing, because we have to print the packs. It wouldn't be efficient to print one at a time. They're nicely printed, they're glazed, they're nicely presented, and that's part of it. People need it to be not too grotty. And so if we're going to produce, we have to be able to produce a number like 50 or 100 sets, and then there's a cost to that. It's more the cost to that. The design work isn't too heavy. I don't think it's more the cost of just making those
production
adjustments.
costs.
And also, I'm going to have a chat with our funders to have further funding to print in different languages. Then we may be able to provide it free of charge at the moment, that limited budget. And we are going to print it like 200 card sets at the moment. And I'm pretty sure we will be able to do it in the future.
But each community member gets a help card, because
Yeah.
we've seen with other work, people just really want something to touch, hold, and take.
So Amy Gill says, are you looking at partnering offers for such initiatives?
Yes, certainly. I'm really happy for partnerships.
And another question is, how do you increase the confidence of victims to disclose what their experience or the abuse they've had, in order to start the recovery process, I suppose?
Yes, I think that that's the advantage of being a trusted multicultural organization, because we are working with community leaders. There are some examples. They approach the community leader, then community leader approach us to discuss about the consequences and what has happened. And also, like, we trained community leaders as well as some of the leading community figures to support their own community members. So in that way, we expect the community members can come to that peer leaders to tell about their stories, as well as through these awareness sessions, our expectation is to build up their resilience. Then they can speak out. And we need to, because we had another program to connect them with the financial counselors, because they didn't know about the financial counselors and whether that service is free and confidential, and they can discuss anything in a private and confidential environment, safe environment. So we already did some work in that area also to develop their confidence and let them know that there are free services available. They can go and speak out.
I think as well, just having the discussion in your community and learning that this is happening to other people, and that you're not the only one, I think that is very helpful, especially for some of these community-specific ones, which really do upset people. I mean, my local bank manager tells me about frequently Chinese students turning up in tears at the bank, really frightened, really seriously frightened. So I'm not sure exactly why they're so frightened, but there are some very specific attacks going on that perhaps only other community members can understand fully the impact that they're having. And also some of the links that we're providing. I mean, the government services are pretty good. You know, you can have a confidential discussion with ID Care on a phone line. They will help you and they'll talk through what's happening for you. If you think that your device has been contaminated, say you've clicked a link you shouldn't have, they will actually help you clean it. It's pretty amazing what is available already. It's just that people perhaps are a bit stuck. They go to their bank and then they're stuck with what is next. But of course, there's a lot of work to try and enhance what the systemic activities, that there's a lot more needed at system level.
Yes. So Dale and some others have asked, is it possible to get a session for our community group So Medha, you're in the Melbourne, Geelong area.
Yeah.
But I see you've responded to say, please email you about any of those sorts of requests as a starting point to see what's possible.
Yes, yes. Maybe we can provide an online session, and we are a Victoria-based organization, and so we are happy to help as much as we can.
That's right. And I think that possibly ID Care, someone notes that, and others are lamenting that this is affecting the whole community, and older people in general are often struggling a great deal because of the amount of transactions that are online now, and the expectation that people will be engaged digitally. But we're getting
think
very
that's
close to the end of our time now. So I would just like to thank Medha and Susie very much for sharing the insights in the presentation today. And I think we can see that people have gained some practical and culturally responsive inspirational strategies for supporting people, especially from CALD backgrounds. Thank you to everybody for joining us this afternoon. The recording link will be distributed to everyone who registered. It'll be on the EAAA website and on the EAAA YouTube channel. These sessions are held monthly now, so please join us again in September if you can to hear from another EAAA member. If your organisation is a member and you'd like to present some of the work, you can contact James Thomas at EAAA, and his email is membership@eaaa.org.au. And if you're not currently a member of EAAA but you'd like to know more, please head to the EAAA website, eaaa.org.au, or email membership@eaaa.org.au. And I also just want to flag that there's early bird tickets available now for our National Elder Abuse Conference to be held in July next year. So you can head to conference.eaaa.org.au to secure your bargain price tickets for that conference. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and we look forward to catching up with you again at a future webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.